Hello, everyone. Good morning or good evening if you're watching in the UK. I am chatting today with Natalie Elvin. Natalie is a confident copywriter, and I am chatting with a lot of copywriters right now about how they got started, what they're excited about, but also how their business has changed. Because I say this all the time, what we often see is the Instagram version, and we think, oh man, they have it all together. What we don't see is the pivots and the lows and the journey and the changes. And so that's what I want to dig into with these chats. And so, Natalie, thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you. Great to be here.
It's do a little intro. Tell us who you are.
Okay, so I'm Natalie. I'm a copywriter and content strategist, and I live in Leeds in the UK. And my background's in teaching, but I kind of escaped that world a few years ago and then went to work for a university. And then I found copywriting. And I kind of work with all kinds of clients from in quite a range of different industries. So kind of like interior designers and digital agencies and beauty brands. But the kind of clients I really like working with are ones that have got a bit of heart. So things like, educators and charities and things like that. But that doesn't always mean what you think it means. And I think, there might be some clients that might fit more obviously into that category. But, I've got other clients that would fall into that category too, but it might not be immediately obvious. I'm just really enjoying writing for a living, really. I never thought I'd get to do this.
So let's talk about, I want to dig back into the kind of businesses with heart a little bit more, because as you said, like it's open to interpretation. But what was the moment? Tell me about like how you found out about copywriting, because I bet you're happy not to be a teacher in the pandemic, but what was it that made you go, right, now is the moment, now is when I'm going to do this and go all in?
So I think my dad died, which is a really cheerful way to start. But I think sometimes if you've lost somebody, it kind of takes that to kick you up the arse a bit and think, what am I actually doing with my life? And I'd always wanted to write for a living, but when I was growing up, it was kind of like I thought that meant, being a novelist or something like that. And I just thought that's never going to happen for me. And I didn't really realize that copywriting was a thing at all until probably about 4 years ago or so. And I was like, oh yeah, people, the words that you see on a website, people get paid to write that stuff. I thought, well, I could do that. And then my sister-in-law works in PR and she does a bit of copywriting sometimes. And she kind of got me to write a few blog posts for her, and I started doing that. And then I went on some awful, these sites, like I won't name them, but where you have to bid for jobs and things like that.
Yeah.
And did some work for very low pay just to get a few portfolio examples, because I'd never had, just didn't have that background because I was a teacher and I'd always worked for the public sector and that kind of thing. And then I was doing it as like a side thing while I was working part-time for a university near where I live. And then last year, so I've been doing it a few years, but last year it got to the point where I had enough money to ditch the job. So here I am.
I love that moment. I remember that moment as well, where I was like, right, been writing on the weekends, been writing in the evenings. I know I want to make this, but there comes the time now that I have to let go of the safety net, let go of the income crutch. But also for me, it was that when I was getting clients regularly, I was like, wow, if I have more time, I could get more clients. So it's time to get more time. So
yeah,
I love that moment. And it's great to, it really highlights the importance of where you often get your first leads from. People
Yeah.
Your friends, family, and, places like Upwork, we can be snooty about them, but they have their place in the cycle of getting some work. As you said, you got some portfolio pieces, and then it sounded like you bounced off and started concentrating on your own marketing, right?
Yeah, that's it. And also someone I used to teach with, I saw her doing it, and she had her own website, and I thought, what's she doing? And then I thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it. So yeah.
Yes. And that's, also being in a community of people where they're maybe a lot further along or a little bit further along, and you're just like, oh, okay. Oh, I see that. I see other mums doing this. I see other, people who have had other careers, and I see people develop their business. And for me, it's seeing people do it makes me go, well, as you said, I can do it then. I'm
Yeah,
the
that's
only one forging this road.
and I found other copywriters to be the best support, really. I think, it's just a myth that you need to avoid them because they're your competition. There's enough work
Oh,
for
yeah.
everyone in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially post-pandemic, more and more businesses are going online, which means more and more copy needs to be written. It was always the case. The pie literally gets bigger the more people who are in it. And so I love that you highlighted that. Now, can you outline some challenges along the way, like especially in the beginning? What were the big challenges, especially things that maybe had you going, this is too much. I'm going to stick with teaching.
Oh God, I don't think anything would make me stick with teaching.
You were driven. I love that.
I think, like, for me, so I think, yeah, finding clients, I think, is the big one in the beginning. Hence, going on those kind of sites. And there have been moments, even since I gave up my job, where I thought, oh God, have I got enough work here? And, you have wobbles and things like that. But I think kind of joining communities and, especially on Facebook and things like that, meeting other copywriters and networking has really helped me to overcome that, I'd say. And also, I think, turning up on social media, which is something I still don't really do. I do it for clients. I do a bit of social media for clients, but I just can't. Like, I just don't make time to do it for myself, really, which is something I'm going to change soon, I think.
Oh, I like that. I mean, the visibility work, the visibility aspect of it is really tough because we often come from an environment where we just go to work, we get told what to do, or maybe we have a bit more autonomy, but we don't have to get up and kind of put ourselves on the line. And all those parts of marketing that we've never had to do before, they can really go deep into our self-limiting beliefs and all the mindset stuff that we often talk about in confident copywriting. It's a real thing, and it can be really difficult. And this is the kind of stuff where I think you've just got to take incremental steps forward, like just doing it a little bit at a time. And it's also, I think, funny when we talk to our mates about it, because it's more often than not something that no other people in our circle don't have to do.
Yeah, true.
And so, it's not many people who get it. So when you can talk with other people who are business owners where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going on a Facebook Live and I'm really nervous about it. People get it. People get how tough it is.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that is true. And I guess, I think I just need to get over it, really, because I just think there's just some kind of embarrassment about doing it for my own business. But no one cares, really. I just need to remember that.
That's such a good point. You're right, because we often think if I pitch that client or I write this blog or I go live on Facebook, everyone's going to laugh. No one's going to know. No one's caring because we're all too busy doing our own things. But also, that's when we look at other people doing things, we don't think harshly of them. I never do.
No. And also, when you first start doing it, literally no one's watching or reading. So you might as well use that as a chance to practice, I guess.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So let's go back to this idea of heart, businesses with heart.
Yeah.
Because that feels like a nice through line of customers. Like you mentioned, these are the clients I really love working with, which tells me that you're not being completely exclusive, but it's like, these are the people I want to really focus my attention on. But it's a phrase that is kind of up for negotiation. So how do you navigate that in your messaging?
I think that'll be something that I will be navigating in my message.
Fair enough.
I think I've only just come to this realization recently. So for a long time now, I've thought, I need to pick a niche, do I niche by industry or do I niche by service? And I see lots of people doing really well niching by service, like is it Eman?
Mhm.
Yeah, she does really well doing just emails, I think.
Yeah, Iman Ismail.
Yeah, that's it. And so I think actually I heard her talking on a podcast when I first started copywriting or really learning more about it. And she mentioned all the things she'd done because I thought I want to be like her. And she mentioned your community and she mentioned like other courses that she'd done. So I thought, well, she must know what she's talking about. But yeah, so I thought I would maybe pick a service, but then I'll come to the realization that I don't really want to do either of those things because I feel like it might narrow me down quite a lot. So, for example, I could just choose to work with charity and third sector, but then that would exclude quite a few other people that I quite like working with. So, for example, I've got a commercial interior design company that I work for, and they wouldn't necessarily, you wouldn't look at them and think, oh, well, clearly that fits into what she's talking about. But they are really like the way they treat their staff, for example. They're really
Yeah,
good employers and they really take care of their people. And they also make sure that they build sustainability into all of their projects where they can. You
yeah,
know, so it might not be obvious immediately, but then I do work with charities as well. And also another client that I really like is this guy that does online music lessons as well. And I got him through your community, actually. I
yeah,
think you put a post on there and I pitched for
yeah.
that. So yeah.
But I love this, looking at the through line, because sometimes the niche is not obvious, where you're like, I don't want to write one particular project and I don't want to work for one particular industry. And actually, I have no idea, but everyone keeps saying niching. And so, first thing, try a lot of projects before you niche. Like, kiss a lot of frogs before you find the prince, because that's a terrible analogy with princess culture. Sorry, everyone. But you don't have to niche as well. But niching can be also discovering the through line, like looking at the clients and going, well, what did I love about that business? And what did I love about that project? And sometimes by taking that step back, you discover the commonalities, even if it's not 100% clear. I love that you're going, well, I think this is it. There's something here, and I'm just going to see where it takes me and how it evolves, because it's not black and white. It's not like emails for e-commerce businesses. It's something a bit looser, and I think that's 100% okay.
Yeah, and I might eventually get to a stage where I do, narrow it down a bit, but I don't think I'm ready to do that yet, really. So I'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, because I know there's that advice niching and it does bring a lot of benefits. As you say, like, it's a really clear messaging. You get exactly the clients you want. You can still say yes to other work, but in the beginning, and even like I was a generalist for like 6 years, and did okay. My niche, if you like, my through line was about the style of writing. It was had much more personality, and with some SEO thrown in. So these kind of things just can evolve, but it's taking that moment to go, well, who do I actually like working with?
Mm.
Because I want to work with businesses that I don't hate. Right? I didn't do this to start hating our job. So
No.
how has your business evolved over the years? What's been a big change that you've noticed?
I guess I guess like since I've through learning more, and I feel like I'm learning all the time. So I think there's a bit of a temptation when you come into copywriting, especially if you come from a background where you think you know how to write, to think that you know it all and there's nothing to learn. And just because you can write grammatically correctly, or the way that you were taught at school, doesn't mean that you're a copywriter or you know everything that there is to know. And I feel like I'll always be learning. So I think that I feel like I'm a lot more confident now with my processes for writing copy. So I think I used to, when I started, work on instinct and just write on instinct. Whereas now, thanks to all the learning I'm doing, I,
Yes.
I've got loads of things that make things easier. So, like, for example, voice of customer research is a big part of when I take on a web copy project, and I just find it makes everything so much easier when you really kind of dig into the language that your clients, customers use, and use that as a basis to inform the copy that you write. So I think it's more kind of my processes of writing have become much tighter and better, I think.
And that's the evolution of it, because all we can do is write the best copy we can from with what we know. And then we learn something else and we pull that into how we write it. And then we see another copywriter does it this way, or there's another layer. Like voice of customer research, I think, is a great example where it's just a layer you can add to your service, where you go from kind of just listening to the client to listening to the client and doing your own online research, to listening to the client, doing online research, and maybe interviewing people as well. It builds up in layers, but you just do what you can with what you know and a level that you're at, knowing that there's always going to be more to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. And I think I've got quicker as a result of all of this as well, because I've got clear steps that I take, and I've really kind of streamlined my processes, I think. So it makes me more efficient, which is more profitable, and better for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And if nothing else, it's like, because we've got, like, there's a session in confident copywriting going how to write faster. And it's about being intentional about what you're going to write, how long you're going to spend on it. And those kind of things make the difference between you doing a 10-hour day or a 5-hour day, or like one project taking twice as long or not. And it's all about knocking off, like working less, becoming more efficient will earn you more money, but you spend less energy on the same work. So you knock off, you have time with your family, you have time for yourself. That's what it's all about. I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's it. And I find that if I've got 3 hours to do something, it will take 3 hours. So I think if, I'm trying to be a bit more strict with my timings as well. So it doesn't expand to fill the gap that I've got.
Which it absolutely will. Absolutely will. And, it sounds like you've really overcome that thing that we all do in the beginning, but we have to let go of, is that I'll just spend a little bit more time on it and make it a little bit better because I'm worried it's not good enough.
Mm.
You have to reach the end of your allocated time and then move forward. And whether that's research or hitting send.
Yeah, definitely. And I think another thing that's helped my business as well is using tools to help me, like Loom, for example. So when I do the first draft of a project, I'll do a little Loom video to talk them through why I've done this, why I've chosen these words here. And that, I feel, has cut down on my kind of editing time a lot. So there are many fewer changes that are needed.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's such a gift in the process of copywriting that can really be a game changer in how clients see the work that you've done.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't write it by a pool. Didn't just make it up. didn't burn some sage and write some words. It's got process to it. So what big things have you got coming up on your horizon that you're excited about?
I guess, well, I think I'm going to try and commit to actually doing some proper social media, marketing of my own business. So I don't know if I'd say I'm excited about that, but maybe I am. I'm excited. I think I'll be excited to have done it.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. That's something that I really just put off. So I'm going to do that and, actually do some of the courses that I've signed up to. So I do some of them, but then there's a couple that I've signed up to that I really want to get started on, but I feel like I need to just allocate a set amount of time each week to work on those.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like learning time each week where for me, a lot of these programs, I just want to chip away at them just a little bit by a little bit, because I can't spend a couple of days just binging on them. That some people that might work for them, but for me, I've just got to do it a lesson at a time, just keep chipping it away. And just looping back to the social media, for me, that would be exciting because it's something you've put off, which means when you do it, you've stepped forward. You've stepped out of your comfort zone, and that's worth celebrating.
Yeah. And I feel like I can do it for clients. I just need to, take that.
Put your pants on.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And know that the whole world isn't going to stop and go, oh, what's Natalie doing?
I know, they don't care.
So, you're in confident copywriting. Can you share a resource that you have particularly found, enjoyed, or found really useful?
Yeah, so I think the thing that I use all the time is the copy deck, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
probably not a very interesting thing to say, but and the copywriting brief, I just use it all the time with clients, both of those things. And I love all the videos and things like that, and Eman's in particular. But those things, when you first start, I think the thing that makes your kind of community different, or your, with all your resources, is that there are things you can just use straight away that save you so much time, and that by far has saved me so much time.
Yeah.
Really.
Just like it gets you to from like I have to do what now to this super professional looking process level, email so much faster.
Yeah, and you can just, you can put your own logo on it and things like that, and yeah, it's been so useful to me, definitely.
I'm so glad.
I would have spent hours putting that together and got it wrong, probably.
Well, it's those kind of things that evolve with your business, and if you can just jump straight to the version that took me kind of 3, 4, 5 years to evolve, I'll have that shortcut, thanks.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. So where can people find you, Natalie? I've got this here, but
Oh, yeah, that's my website, and then I'm at Elvin Writes on Twitter and Instagram, and you can also find me on LinkedIn.
I'm
Um,
put that up.
and although I am on these places, I don't do much on there, but that's gonna change soon. It's gonna
That's
change.
exactly right. Follow to get ahead of the curve. And so I'm going to put this URL as well. And can you summarize again the clients that you work with and the kind of copy that you do?
So, yeah, I write all kinds of copy, but I really like, web copy, and, I like to work with clients with a bit of heart and people that help people who are nice to their staff.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, thanks for joining me today, Natalie. I encourage everyone to follow, connect, share, but I really appreciate you kind of sharing the beginning and how everything has started coming together.
Oh, thanks, Bill.
I'll see you in confident copywriting, of course.
Yeah, see you there. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.